You are listening to the Mary Jane Society podcast, where you will meet entrepreneurs, cultivators, scientists, doctors, and inventors in the cannabis industry.
I'm your host, Pam Schmiel, marketer and publicist in the cannabis industry. Partnering with a franchise is a great way to fast-track a business and get a built-in team of professionals, especially in the highly regulated cannabis industry. Sweet Spot Farms, a franchise in the Northeast, has been quietly building cultivation facilities and dispensaries to support its franchise operations. They have licenses in Vermont, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Maine, and Maryland. Franchise veteran Eugenia T heads up their operations and joined the podcast to share their plans for becoming the top cannabis franchise operation in the country. Let's meet Eugenia. People who are trying to do the franchise model out there, I think it's the model to get us through like the whole social equity or new entrepreneurs, that's all who's in this space.
Everything that was developed with our brand and, the team that's put Sweet Spot together is incredible. They're all brilliant. They've done something very different than what's out there. And, we've learned to navigate the space in many states. We have 14 licenses in 7 states right now. Those are our own. And as of, I was brought on, so a little bit about my background. I was brought on as the franchise guru, because that was my background for 17 years. I'm an investor in Sweet Spot. So in 2017, I met with the founders are from my hometown through my brother. And we actually all used to work out at the same gym, which is such a small world. We used to box together.
Where's your hometown?
Stamford, Connecticut.
So it is.
Yeah.
Your hometown is Stamford.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Okay.
So the founders are from here. And then in 2017, at the time, it was just for a cultivation in Rhode Island. That's what we went for. And we started off as investors there and have just been a part of, the growth story. And, have continued to find other investors that have come in and have, just done anything to fuel the growth and franchising as my background. So I had to find prospective franchisees. I had to help them with finding real estate, training them throughout the whole process, getting them up and running, and then being a support for them so that they could be successful, right? When you think about franchising today and the model, it is about providing a turnkey solution, right? Here's the game plan. Here's the roadmap. You do well, we'll do well, right? Because we create, we collect royalties, and we've done it and we have it mapped out. So it takes away the risk of just starting from scratch. It takes away, the timing of, you getting involved in any business, right? Because it's already been done. So that was my franchising background. And fast forward to 2022, I joined the team to take a look at how we could take our dispensary model and franchise it out. And so that's kind of what I've been working on. But we haven't really promoted it up until this year. Like this was like this year really was when we really first started promoting and getting out there. And we've been getting out into the cannabis space and this cannabis arena. Now I'm going to pivot a little bit and go into the franchise world, because that's, I think, where we're going to find a lot more candidates. The part of what we're experiencing today, and yes, I love helping social equity folks and all of those things, and it's a great model for it. A lot of folks are starting with they have zero money. Yeah. And it's just like any other business. You have to have something, right? Or the investor is going to take the majority of your business. And I don't think a lot of folks understand it. A lot of the states have created this avenue to be a priority in the space, right? And I love the intentions of it. It just, the execution by the states has just not been there.
If they don't have some sort of fund, like I know Curio Wellness out of Maryland
has a fund. I know them. Yeah.
Yeah. They have a fund. Yeah. So but you're right. It's not really just for social equity, but I'm thinking that's how it would work if somebody had something with the funding behind it, not just a loan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the model helps with that, right? Most folks have zero clue about raising capital, right? So that's something we can help with. We can help package a franchisee, right, with the financial models because we have them, right? So that we could kind of show them the ropes on how they could raise capital as well. Of course, we're going to vet them just the same as any other company, right? You're building a team and we're looking for successful long-term operators, and not everyone that has a social equity license is going to be the right fit, and we aren't going to be the right fit for everyone, right? So it's all of those things that we obviously look at. And I've been in this space, newly in this space, other than being an investor. I've had a lot to learn, and I attended and I continue to attend cannabis events from Maine to Maryland, wherever I need to go. That's where we are, and we're focused on the East Coast at the moment. We want to get it right, and then we'll expand from there. But I've been out there just creating an awareness for the brand. Our CEO is brilliant with branding and how this whole model came about, and just how we do things. We do things very creatively, and it's given us an edge to be able to navigate the obstacles. We're well funded. Our dispensaries do very well, like our business does well. So we're able to navigate the challenges that most do not know how to do. But we've also been able to navigate them differently, right? When everyone goes left, we go right. And it's just a way to stay ahead of the curve and be more competitive with everything that we do, and just get things done in a quick fashion.
So what do you mean people go left, you go right?
Oh, like most people today, when you think about the application process, right? We've scored extremely well with applications in every state that we've operated in. We know how to put them together. But when it comes to finding real estate, most folks are maybe knocking on the doors of what's available. Well, we get a little creative, right? So it's just, we've been able to find different angles to pivot to overcome the obstacle. And what they say is, and I can't give out all the secrets because then it wouldn't be of interest to anyone. But, we've been able to really navigate the space from that capacity, which has given us the growth that we've had in a very, very short period of time.
How many stores do you have so far?
So they're not franchised yet. We are working. We should have this one group closing this week that we're working on in New Jersey. And we're obviously, we kind of have real estate already locked in for them as well. So it's a one group and they're doing multiple. So that's kind of like our first group. We had another group as well, and they ended up just being investors in the parent company and not really pushing forward with the franchise side. They got cannabis fatigue, just because, you can't expect to wait. Sometimes you have to wait longer than a year, and it just wasn't for them. And I'm sure we'll revisit it again, but that was like our first franchise group. But they're parent company investors, so it worked out. As a company, we have 4 open dispensaries, and we're building 2 in Connecticut right now. So that's 4 open, 2 we're building, and then we have a license in Vermont that's going to be a franchise. And then we have New Jersey. We have several other licenses that we will develop, but we also have, like I said, our 2 other franchise groups that we're working with.
So is it one franchise group in Jersey, and then
yes, and 1 in Vermont at the moment.
Okay, but in addition to the one in New Jersey, you're developing your own other stores?
These are all our stores, right? So we've been vertical in many of the states, and that's our goal, right? So our goal from a model perspective is we want to be able to distribute our product. We create cracked cannabis at a very low cost. We've been able to create efficiencies, all of our LED lighting. We make our own nutrient mix. Everything is recyclable. And so we've been really able to reduce our COGS so we can produce it very low cost. So our franchisees will benefit because they will also get discounted product from us. So we are lined up today in Rhode Island, we're vertical. We will be vertical in Connecticut. We'll have a grow in Norwich. And then our 2 dispensaries, one is being built in West Hartford, and then one is being built we have some zoning stuff in Stamford. In New Jersey, our cultivation will be in Vineland, and then of course, Maryland, we're still working on. But today, our open dispensaries are Maine, Rhode Island, New Jersey, and Maryland. That's where they're open today.
Okay, they're kind of your beta testing franchisees, right? For
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
gotcha.
we already have it figured out. It's,
Yeah, no, I mean beta
but
for
yeah,
them. For them.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
you've got the model. You're
yeah,
just
and there are like first, exactly. They're like our first. So
yeah.
I spent most of 2022 putting together a franchise disclosure document, which took us 8 months, right? That was a process. Then it was also creating an operations manual, right? Looking at all of the internal documents that we have. How are we going to support these folks? We've evolved and grown as a team since then. And so I constantly, the industry changes so often, but we're going back now and revising. You know, we have more people to our team, that we have efficiencies, like we have amazing marketing people, videographers, like there's just so much more that's happening to create this seamless process as we I guess onboard our franchisees.
Okay. And who are or is the CEO?
His name is Jason Websky. Ben and there's Ben and Jason are like the original founders.
Okay.
And then they brought on a couple of other folks as at the early onset.
And what's their background?
So prior to that, Ben was in real estate. So he's been instrumental in the development phase. And then Jason has a marketing background. So marketing, branding, and so really has been instrumental at like putting all of that together. You know, Sweet Spot brand and who we are is you know, Jason's vision, and I think he is a visionary and he's incredible.
Your how you stand out is that you really focus on educating the consumer who comes in and spending time with
ton of education
that like they you know, typically you walk in, you go see a bud tender, they can guide you, you can say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Do you have a pharmacist on site for all your show?
Well, we're all hybrid. We used to be medical in some of our facilities, so we had that, but we're hybrid now. Okay. Our latest one just turned hybrid in Maryland on July 1. So we do both. And we have doctors that refer, that can get referred for cards, but a lot of it is through the education that we've done. And we focus a lot on terpenes, and, you know, that's the true measurement of the interactive ingredients and, you know, what the plant is going to help you feel. And we educate on that. We educate on the cannabinoid system, and a lot of folks they don't understand that. And then today, when you think about a general cannabis dispensary experience, most of the time you're walking in, there's a desk and you're ordering something, right? Like you're ordering it at a kiosk, and there's just a few people there to help you, but we really just honed in on this experience and making it unique, and education and knowing what we're talking about, versus someone coming in and not understanding. Like a lot of times, you know, I've heard this many times, you walk into a dispensary and you ask about the terpene profiles and people are like, I don't know, what are terpenes, you know? So
not that there's many franchises that you're competing with, but how would you
a differentiator? I think differentiator is the location space. You know, really the look and the feel and the vibe is different than what I've seen out there. And I think it stands out. And our mission, right? Our mission of being education based, but also it's about, for our franchisees, right? You have to love what you're doing, and you have to feel excited about what you're doing. And the minute you walk into our dispensary and you see the different types of people that are there, we're skewed to older demographic too. It just validates. For some reason, we're skewed older.
Why do you think that is? Because I think that's the market coming. I mean, that's
it is. Well, that's yeah. And that's the intention, right? So when we think about today, college students don't have a ton of disposable income, right? Are they going to consume? Yes, but there are very few that have that, and yes, they're a customer. And when we think about the general demographics of cannabis, yeah, it's on the lower end, but we're skewed, like we're seeing 40 to 60s, and like, which is really nice. And I think it depends on where we are. We're near a university in Rhode Island, so that number is a little skewed down, but it's still, every visit that I'm there, I look around and it's like, I'm 48. So it's like, I see people, you know,
yeah,
exactly. So It's just interesting, but I think it has to just do with the vibe. It's welcoming and the team loves what they do and you can see it. It's like any business today.
Yeah.
If you don't create that environment that helps people with an experience, then you're missing the mark and you're not going to be in business. And that's any business today, right? People have they have dollars and it's earmarked for where they want to spend, and they want to spend where they feel welcome, where they feel like there's a personal connection, and those are the things that we do. We create personal relationships with these people. We know about their vacation and their kids, and so those are the things. We're not just a sales organization, even though it's sales. It's about the experience.
So as far as somebody wanting to get in, I saw on your website, of course, like the criteria. Well, how about even as far as a new entrepreneur that you're vetting out?
Where we entertain that, so how I vet people, a lot of it is personality at the end of the day, right? Okay. You can teach someone anything if they're willing to learn and open to follow systems. If they're positive, outgoing, and they just are magnetic, that they will do well. Versus, someone that is a know-it-all,
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you're maintaining, and I've been very successful in vetting out franchisees in my life. So there's this like characteristic traits that you look for, and it takes time. It's a mutual discovery process. It's asking a lot of questions. It's seeing the response. It's did they do their homework, right? I have a younger entrepreneur candidate I'm talking to, and you would never anticipate someone being so young, and he started his own business, and but it was more about the questions he came prepared to ask, the self evaluation of his opportunities versus his strengths. There's just a mutual process that happens, and I'm pretty good at getting into and understanding the characteristic traits that are going to lead to success or not, right? And it's not for everybody. It may not be a good fit, and our brand may not be a good fit for someone, right? Some folks I'm finding have this idea of what they want to do, and it's their brand, and that's great, but you'll figure that out, and that's fine. Like, I wish you utmost success. But I'm not going to, provide training and support or do those things, because it's just not the model that we have. So,
right. So Sweet Spot, how did you guys get into Maryland? Wasn't that difficult?
So we've been in there since 2018. We bought a license in 2018 there. And so then we opened in 2019, and actually very tiny, a tiny location. It was one of our first, so we didn't have like our Sweet Spot brand. It's getting a makeover and an expansion right now, since we've turned rec adult use on July 1. And so it's in Olney, Maryland, and it's been doing amazing. So, so yeah, Maryland's tough, but we get into tough markets like New Jersey. Our Voorhees location there, we were scored number 3, our application from a 2019 RFA. And number 3 out of all of the applicants that came in, 33 were selected. We were the first of the group to open.
You've got the systems, you've got everything so written out, the SOPs, everything, they just go.
It's a machine, but the team did a lot with very few people. We run very lean, and it's really passion and inertia and drive of the entire team that moves things. And I must say now that we've added even more people like that are focused on app writing, and we all are all hands on deck. Like I help capital raise sometimes. We all do whatever it takes, and that's the mentality of our business. And we will always remain, whether we grow as large as we do, we will always have that kind of mom and pop mentality, and stay that way. That's like what our roots are. So
that's hard to score that high. I mean, that says something.
There's just something exciting, and what we do, there's like this
industry,
and
to me, is
for all of us, like it doesn't matter what time of day, weekend, we don't do that. We just do. Yeah.
But the other question I have is, what's
Yeah.
the legal agreement? And basically, you're just all on the application? Is that?
So we're not on the application. We don't
Oh,
own the business.
okay.
Okay. So from an application perspective, we help support because we've done this over and over. So we have a template. And then we help them draft it with the narrative, right? We identify, okay, where do we want to be? It may be a location that we've already kind of secured and an area we've secured because we've done our due diligence. We've run models on it.
Mhm.
We know that this municipality has a limitation to how many they're allowing, versus, oh, it's unlimited, right? There's all of these things that we look at, and we help the franchisee with that process. We help them with the narrative, right? They, of course, are going to always have legal representation their own because you always have to have your own attorney. We're just helping them identify the best story. But when they're bolstered with a company, the municipalities also like that because the failure rate certainly comes down versus some of these folks that really don't know what they're talking about. Our security is top notch. Our COO has a military intelligence background. So
Love it.
he brought in like
Okay.
top notch, right? So there's all of these things that we bolster someone with that they can't say no in an application. They're supported by someone who's done it and does it successfully.
And that's the other thing is, like, you need a team in this industry. You need all these people that you're talking about, and to try to put that together by yourself.
Oh.
That's just
Or you're hiring a million consultants.
That's what I mean.
Which is
Yeah.
So we're here packaging it all from application to real estate to obviously we have design manual, right? With what does the store look like, architectural drawings, so that your architect, we have vendors that you could work with, or you pick your own. So all along the process, how do you hire in this industry? If you've never done this, how do you do it? What does a staffing plan look like when you first open, and how do you ramp up? A lot of these places are, open your doors and they come because it's just the nature of the business right now, but you still have to do grand opening plans. What you can and can't do from a marketing perspective. What are your SOPs look like? Well, we have them. How do you train staff? We're going to teach you how to train staff, and we're going to train your staff up until the point in just the general educational piece. How do you run the day-to-day operations? We have manuals for it. And then ongoing, we're there to support you. Let's just say you're having trouble with inventory. Well, we do that every day too. So these are best practices to help you be successful.
So basically, you're getting your advisory group with your hand holding that continues on through it, and you're just basically paying that fee for someone
It's a royalty. It's a royalty.
Royalty.
And we don't own your business.
Yeah.
What most states are concerned with is ownership and control. And at the end of the day, we don't control what you do. No franchisor actually can, right? At the end of the day, it's very difficult to take someone away from their business unless they're doing something egregious at the end of the day. So really, it is just, these are the guidelines. You should to follow them to be successful. And most people who want to do this feel compelled to want to follow a system versus trying to figure this out on their own. I mean, and I just don't think enough folks know about the options yet.
Right. I know. I don't think so either.
It's tough, and it takes a lot of again, we're doing it every day, and we're doing it in states. And I think that's what lends itself to helping people be successful, as we figured it out.
Yeah, so, I guess you figured it out because they seem to be kind of floundering.
Yeah. I think people are floundering on the real estate front, the support front. I think there's a lot of that. And look, I think there's room in this space for all of these brands, like any other, when you think about the whole like ecosystem of business today, right?
Yeah.
And every type of business model that there exists, there's multiple brands, so there's room for it.
Yes.
And I just think it's at its infancy, really. I expect franchising will eventually grow as the industry also starts to get a little bit more stable. Right now, there's just a lot of, it's growth stage or it's challenges. New York, cutting their nose to spite their face, and all of these silly things that are happening. So, but definitely will. I think the opportunity, yes, there's the social equity component, but I do think that there's the general business entrepreneurs that just don't know enough about this. And once they learn about it, they will be jumping in feet first, because it's a tremendous business. And I do see it in the health and wellness arena. I know many people still, I mean, there's a lot of stigma attached to it, but that's how I view it. So I think, the takeaway really is we're very creative in how we do things, and we're operators. We know how to navigate, and we repeatedly do it with every state. We figure out what the hurdles are, and we come up with a game plan, and we can do that with our franchisees. So